belle fête Dominique, c'est journée créole. Belle fête Dominique, c'est journée créole. Look at that jiggling, jabalam, bama, la we wazo. Look at that jiggling, jabalam, bama, la we wazo. Nous mettez wap tuyes, et Belgique nous, tête nous maoué, et puis matoise. J'y pas le tel blanc, en pressé, puis plissé, puis chou cacléoué, colonne si l'hiver. Mi en belle fête Dominique, c'est journée.
Hi everyone. As the independence celebrations are on us, I'm quite excited by the events going on. The opening was great. And I just thought, let me talk a little bit about the dances. Having had the experience of being in a cultural group and doing the traditional dances, as well as being a cultural officer and assisting with the competitions. So I will speak on just the European-based dances. So as the name implies, they come from Europe. And of course, they landed on Dominica like us, when our ancestors, the slaves, during this transatlantic slave trade. So the European-based dances have come from Europe. They come from places like England, France, Germany, Poland, and a whole lot of other countries in Europe. Now, I remember when we were preparing for independence celebrations, and particularly for the Roseau Cultural Group, those from the villages laughed at us, especially when we were doing the dance, the waltz in Portsmouth. Why, mon Dieu, Sapa waltz? Because we did it differently. And they were the same steps, but we went round in a circle, but it was not the same formation as they did, and they laughed at us so much. And what I try to explain sometimes is that even in Europe, the dances changed. The quadrilles that they did, there were so many varieties of quadrilles, as applies to Dominica today. There are many different types of quadrilles from the north, and they differ from the north to the south, east, and west. But I want to say that this happened from Europe before they came down. I remember reading that there's a car going off here, so I'm sorry about the noise if you get any. But I remember I did a lot of research, and I would like to encourage you also to do some research on the traditional dances, because they're interesting, their origins and how they changed over the years. I remember reading once that the lancers, to end the lancers, the gentlemen would lift the ladies up in the air for the ending. And some prudic people didn't like that. So it changed, So I'm saying, we cannot say that this is the right one and this is the wrong one. No, they are varieties. Now, I did a lot of research. I wrote to the societies in England to get the information about these dances. So I would encourage you to do the same. The hurricane did a great damage on all the material that I have used. But I think we need to encourage each other to do the research on the dances. Also, when you are explaining about the dances, always have a little bibliography as to where and who taught those dances. It allows us to remember the people who carried on this tradition, and to respect them for doing that. And also, it makes your presentation a lot more credible. Okay, so it's very good to always refer to the people who did it and whatnot. And that the dances that are done now for competitions, thanks to Mr. Leblanc, E.O. Leblanc and Mrs. Cordero, to revive those dances which were done privately. they instilled a national day. They started a national day where these dances would be performed, and yeah, that was wonderful. So thanks to them, we have to say thanks to them. And then of course, the cultural division was formed in 1978, and they also revived the dances. They made efforts of reviving the dances. And Daryl Phillip has written a book on the traditional dances. And I don't know whether the cultural division still has copies, but it would be interesting or beneficial to a lot of us to read about those dances. Lennox Honeychurch has written about the dances as well. He's written about the instruments. So I think it's very important, that we refer to those people and to give them the respect and the honor for preserving our traditional dances. So the dances mainly are the quadrilles, the flirtations, mazouk. I mean, my nenen taught me to dance the mazouk when I was about 5 years old. The waltz, we danced the waltz at home with my father. I remember, because we were the Roseau Cultural Group, they felt that whatever we did was not the right thing. But remember, that this is where it all started, in Roseau. So I don't see how they could be criticizing us. Anyway, that's besides the point. So I've mentioned a few. They have the Lancers, which is very, it's known very well by the Petit Savant group. They have kept the Lancers, very well preserved, and we have to thank them for that. And there is a particular dance which I had not seen as cultural officer, and it is called the German Lancers. And this German Lancers was danced at the Bath Estate House, because my grandfather was manager of the Bath Estate House. And they danced all these dances there. People have told me, whilst doing research, people have told me that he was one of the best dancers in Roseau. So I think that's where I got it from. And they would dance at the big bathhouse drawing room. So it wasn't danced in probably a small area on the fields or in the houses. It was danced in a large drawing room. And so the German Lancers. And you know who taught that to us? My mom, Mrs. Ina Burton, and Mrs. Bertha Toulon. I got them, the two of them, to teach the Roseau Cultural Group. I never left the Roseau Cultural Group out of anything. I made it my point of duty. Whilst I was president, dress design, dress designer, PRO, everything. And yes, so they taught us, Bertha Toulon and Ina Burton. She was a butler as well, both butlers. And they were raised at Bath Estate House. And they are the ones who taught the Roseau Cultural Group to dance in the 1990s. Then we would use this dance because it's an easy dance, and we would use this dance when we were entertaining visitors, when we were asked to perform. So we would call the members of the audience to dance with us. And I remember Mr. Liverpool dancing when I was made cultural custodian at the Old Mill. That is where the event was held. And he danced with us as well. So we need always to mention these people, that because they remembered it from their young days at Bath Estate. So with the instruments now, before, the instruments were mainly melodic instruments, the violin, the piano, the accordion, and whatever. And these would be the European dance orchestras that played for those dances in their big halls for the debutantes and whatever. And we now in Dominica have the accordion. We have kept the accordion. Many years ago, there were some people still using, I think in Cassibros, they were using the banjo, the mouth organ. They had a very musical family in Cassibros. They know themselves. And they used to use that. But the The basic accompaniment now is the accordion, the boom boom or the bass, the shak shak, and the tambal. So these are percussion instruments, and the melodic instrument is the accordion. Now, people in Roseau would have had gramophones and records and things like that, and they use that to dance. They played the music on the gramophones and were able to dance in drawing rooms. But this is the basic the instruments that are being used today. Information can be readily had if you write to there are a lot of institutions in England for the traditional dances. They have them there. So yeah, do that and enjoy the season and live up to your culture. Enjoy your culture. All right. So I'll leave you here for today, and hope you have a great time during the independence period. Those visitors, try to learn one of the dances. The heel and toe is a very easy dance. So when you go back and you have your celebrations in those countries, you can dance and you can teach the younger ones to dance. So do that. Okay? Take care. Let's keep the culture alive. Bye-bye.